Okay, the first thing that we're going to want to do for our basics on Microsoft Publisher is actually open up Microsoft Publisher and choose a blank document. From here, we have a blank document that looks very similar to a document in Microsoft Word. However, in Publisher, we also have Workspace located to the left and located to the right of our document. Now, this is also an important tool down here is our Zoom tool. We can move in on our document and we can move way out. That increases the amount of workspace that you have around your document. Okay, the nice part about Microsoft Publisher is that we can put in certain page parts that will make it look more like a magazine. In other words, we can have several stories appearing on one page. To do that, we go to Insert, and we have some page parts that we can choose from. Within this box of page parts, we can choose a heading. If you have a specific quote or saying that you would like to put in, there's some brackets and different styles that you can insert quotes. The sidebar section allows you to put short amounts of text with a picture on either the left or the right side or the top or the bottom of your document. Okay, there's a lot of different styles of sidebars. You can see all the different ones here. Then when we actually get to the text and we want to insert a story, we have different templates and formats that we can use. Now, down at the bottom, there's also a button that says More Page Parts, and if we click on that, it will take us to another page where it gives us even more different styles of headings, pull quotes, okay, sidebars, stories, all different kinds of things. Okay, so I'm just going to choose a story. Okay, this one has a title with some text. It allows you to put in some text. It has pictures included, so there's really a lot of things involved in this one simple story. Okay, now if this were an actual page, I can move this around and I can put this story up here. Okay, now if I wanted to insert another story, okay, I can come back to my page parts and I can choose another story and I can insert that story as well. Okay, and you can see the ease of putting these templates in. And let's say we wanted to insert one more story. So we have 3 stories actually taking place. Okay, 1, 2, 3 in our document. Now remember we said we have some workspace out here in the areas. Okay, let's take this one out into our workspace, and you notice when I move, all of it moves together. The pictures, the title, the text. One awesome feature about Microsoft Publisher is that if we take our mouse and we click and we surround everything that's inside that box, we can ungroup or separate the parts. So if we go back to our home, after we have that all selected and we choose Ungroup, and I had to click that twice, okay? But now we have the ability to pull separate parts out of there, and we can rework existing templates that we put in. So for instance, if I would prefer to have my title up above, and zoom out just a bit. This is the nice part. If you zoom out, you can work in this workspace a little bit better. And then I want to put my 2 pictures now. Let's say instead of 4, I want 2 pictures on top. And then I would like to put 2 pictures on the bottom. I've used their template, but creatively I've just created my own new type of template. Now, let's say I want to move that entire thing back into my document. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click and make sure that I get every part. If I only get a little bit of it, it's not going to work. So I have to get every part. And then I'm going to click Group. This is under the Home tab. And I'm going to group all of that together. Okay, and then I'm going to move it back into my document. I'm just going to delete these other 2 stories. Now, I can't see this well, so I'm just going to slide over and slide down. Okay, so now I've done a couple things. I've reshaped or repositioned my pictures. Okay, I've moved my text to the top, and I've kept my box here for my text in the middle. Okay, so the grouping and ungrouping, that's a great feature that's involved with Microsoft Publisher. Okay, let's say now, for instance, we want to change our pictures or put some text in or put our story in. I'm going to put my title in first. I'm just going to call mine Thanksgiving 2016. Now, if I want to type, I simply click on the box and I begin to type my story. Now, that's pretty small. Okay. However, in magazines, they have to use small type, and actually size 8 when it prints off will be very readable. Now, what we can do then is we can zoom in, and it looks bigger, but we're actually at 130% at this point. And you can continue typing. Then, if I'm ready to put something in or work with the page, I simply zoom back out. So the zoom feature and the grouping and ungrouping are two very important features in Publisher. Okay, now, when I am ready to change my pictures, I'm going to click on a picture. Okay, then I'm going to go into my Format tab at the top, and we've got a lot of options here, but I'm going to say Change Picture. Now, if you have a file out on your desktop, say for instance you go to Google and you find yourself a picture and save it to your desktop, that's the first one. It's going to take you to a box and ask you where you would like to import that. Okay, so I have a lot of pictures I can choose from. Okay, I decided I would put that one in. It's just a saying about Thanksgiving or giving thanks to someone. Okay, and it puts it into this box. Now, another way that we can do this is if we click on here and we say Change Picture, we can also search through Bing. Okay. And it'll give us a lot of options, and that's kind of like a Google search. So you've got two ways. You can search Google, or you can just do this Bing search, and that one should bring it in for you and put it in there. Now notice it put it out here, which is fine. Okay, or to put it down at the bottom, which is fine. Because remember, if I don't like that, I can bring it out to my workspace. I can highlight that. I can go to my home, and I can ungroup those. Let's say, for instance, I want it up here. I'll just pull this one up here. And I'll move this other one down. And if I want it all back together, I select it all again, and I group it, and then I slide it back in here. Okay, again, we said the nice thing was we could insert multiple stories. Okay, so if this is one story, and now I want to go back and I want to insert another story, I can simply come to my page parts. I'm going to go down to my stories, and let's say this time I'd like one that's going to look like this. Okay, now I have a big picture here. I have two little pictures, and this really is not a lot of room for my text. Okay, so I'm just going to slide it out again to the work area. I'm going to ungroup. I'm going to pull, click out here. I'm going to pull some of these apart. Okay, now I like how this is set up. Okay, so I'm going to select this part and I'm going to group it back together. I'm going to pull this part in. I think I'd like the next one to be right here. Okay, then I can slide. Now notice my text box on the top is also sliding down. Maybe I don't want that to slide down. Bring it back to my work area. I'm going to ungroup that again. Okay, and this time I'm just going to take my text over here, and then I'll take this separately. Okay, and then I can stretch this as long as I would like it to go down, as long as my story is, as much as I need. Okay, and then I'm going to bring my pictures back in. Okay, and you can see it's getting close there. So let's say I want another picture. I need to go back and I need to click on Format. I'm going to change my picture. I think I'll do another Bing search. This time I'm going to look up turkey. That fits in well with Thanksgiving. This guy's got a little funny sign that says eat beef because he's a turkey, and that's funny. So insert him there. Now let's say that I want to group all of this together. I can still do that even though I'm not out in the work area. I have to just be careful I don't get anything on this side. I only want this much. Okay, and you can see it's selected those. I can come back to my home, and then I can group those together, and then it will move. Okay, so now essentially I've got 2 stories, and I could fit a third one in here if I'd like to. Or my other option is I could move it up like this. And you notice how everything is smushed together? That might mean I need to bring it out here to the work area, ungroup some things, resize. Okay, but for the time being, I'm just going to stretch that back out, move him over a little bit, and put him in there. Okay. Now, we could fit one more story in here. We simply go to Insert, Page Parts. We're going to pick another story. If you don't like the ones that are here, we can click on More Page Parts, come down to Stories. Okay, and then again, we could put that first one, we could shrink them over, come up, pull this one down. Okay, and essentially now we've got 3 stories in here. Now, obviously with this one, I'd need to pull it out to the workspace, remove some pictures, change the size, move some things around so that I can get my story in here. Okay, then I left some space at the top. We can insert a page part up here that is a heading, or we could put a pull quote in if we had a quote about something. Again, if we want more page parts, some different headings. This one's kind of cool. Okay, we can put that one in. Okay. And then we can type in there some different things. Okay, so rather than just a Word document, we've really included a lot of different things in this Microsoft Publisher. Now, 1 or 2 more quick basics about Publisher. Page design is very similar to Microsoft Word. We can take our margins and we can make them narrow, and that will give us a little bit more space when we print. Okay, so we can stretch that out a little bit. Okay, also under Insert, there is Borders and Accents. Okay, kind of a cool thing that we can do. Again, there's the More Border and Accents. So if you want to put some different borders in, again, we can stretch these guys out and play with them. We can spin them around, so if you wanted it to go vertically along the side of your page, you could do that. Okay, so there's kind of a lot of creativity-wise. Microsoft Publisher opens up a lot of windows for you with what you would like to do on your page. Okay, now if you do these things, you can also right-click and copy, and then you can do a paste. Okay, if you wanted it to be the exact same size on both ends. Now that we have a pretty good-looking page here, if we need to do another page, we can come up here and we can click on Page. Okay, and you can see that gives us another new blank page. It's kept all the things we have out on the workspace in case we wanted to group those together or bring those in. Okay, another option that we have under New Page on the arrow is we could insert a duplicate page, which would put another exact copy in there. So for instance, if you had only put your title and your heading on and you wanted that on every page, you could duplicate just that page with the heading or with the borders. Say you created a cool border and you wanted that on every page, you could simply duplicate the page. Okay, and our final step then, we're going to save. So we go File, Save As. Most likely you'll want to put this into your OneDrive. I have a folder that's called 2015-2016, so I will just put that in my OneDrive. One thing that we did notice in past years when we save, each time we make revisions and we resave, we've had to give it a different name. And a very simple way to do that is just to put Thanksgiving, and then I always just put the date. Okay, so I'm going to put November 15 today. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and save that. And you will notice at the top, your publication 1 should change to Thanksgiving, November 15th. And if you change it multiple times on the 15th, you might even put the time of day up there that you updated it. Okay. Best of luck as you go forth, and there's also a lot of features on here we haven't talked about.